everybody, so I have been back from Taipei for a week now and it feels really lovely to be home actually. A lot of people have been asking me, do you miss Taipei? And I have to be honest and say not yet. I think a week is too soon to miss something. I didn't want my vlogs to just end so abruptly and so I thought I'd do kind of this video as sort of a debrief and an overview as my trip has come to an end. A few people have asked me about the cultural differences between England and Taiwan, and aside from the obvious things like the use of squat toilets and the food, which is completely different, I got thinking about the things that they do in Taiwan that they don't do in England that initially I thought were so weird. Obviously by the end of my trip I kind of was used to them and it was just a part of everyday life, but the things that when I first arrived I was like, what? This is so bizarre. So I thought I would share those with you today. So without further ado, here are 11 fun facts about Taiwan. Okay, so number one is that people use umbrellas all the time. Taiwanese people will always have an umbrella on them. They consider the rain there acid rain, I think from all the pollution coming over from China. So they don't want to be rained on, which is fair enough, but even in the lightest trickle, like a drizzle, they will use an umbrella. And then on the other hand, they'll also use it in the sun because they really do not want to get a tan. They think that the whiter you are, the more beautiful you are. So yeah, umbrellas are essential. Number two is that there are no bins anywhere. Like if you find a bin in a street, it's like it makes me happy. I think they had a rat infestation a few years ago, which meant that the council or government or whoever decided to take away all the bins to kind of stop the problem. So instead what they do is there's a bin truck that drives around playing what we would know as like ice cream van music, and all the locals, they'll know what time the truck comes, but they all run after it and they chuck their bags into the back. Because I lived in a dorm it was a bit different because you couldn't have like hundreds of people at one time running after this lorry, like a swarm of people. So for us it actually came and stopped outside and gave us a chance to put it in. But I actually think I have some footage of my friend Sawana doing her rubbish truck, so I'll insert it here if I can find it. So number three is that there are no houses in Taiwan. Well, not in Taipei anyway. Maybe when you get out into the countryside a bit more there are. But honestly, in Taipei, there are no houses. Everyone lives in apartment blocks. But yeah, it's strange to not see any houses anywhere. So number four is that there is a Wi-Fi that covers the entire city. You have to go and register at one of the MRT stations, but once you get a username and password you can access a Wi-Fi wherever you are in the city, so that was quite cool. To be fair, it wasn't great Wi-Fi, it was a bit on and off, it wasn't always reliable, but quite helpful if you could find a spot that worked perfectly. Number five is an air raid drill, and I don't know how often this happened, but it happened once when I was there. They let off all these sirens for half an hour a day, and you cannot be outside. You need to know what time the air raid drill is happening and you need to be inside. Say if you were in a bakery or something and it started, you would have to stay in that bakery for half an hour, which, to be fair, wouldn't be dreadful. It was quite scary. Luckily I was just in my dorm, so I was fine. But no one can be outside and you get a massive fine if you're like found out on the streets or, you know, outside of a building while the air raid drill is going on. Number six, I should have done this as number four really, but number six is their hate of the number four. So the number four in Mandarin is is like "se", sounds like "se", which is similar to the word for death in Mandarin. So they really avoid the number four at all costs. But four is my favourite number, even in the lifts, which you might have seen when Phoebe came, she saw. But in the lifts, sometimes they won't have a level 4, so it will go 1, 2, 3, 5, blah 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 onwards. So that was quite interesting. Number 7 is the organised queuing for the MRT. In London, if you were waiting to get on the Underground on a busy day, people would just swarm on the station, no queues, you stand wherever you want, and then when the train comes and stops, everyone just like runs to get to the door and you squeeze past people, no one cares about order or whatever, you just do anything you can to get on the train. Whereas in Taiwan they have designated lines that you have to kind of follow, and once you get to a certain point you can't join the back of that queue, you have to go down to the next doors. So it's so organised and I much prefer that. London should actually do that. But yeah, it's really incredible to see. The first time I went into an MRT station and there were perfect queues of people where all the doors were. Number 8 are the women's waiting at night areas. So in a lot of the MRT stations and train stations, they'll have designated areas where women can go and sit if they're getting their transport at night. I thought that was quite nice. I think they're so safe because all the security cameras are on them, and that's what makes them kind of different from the rest of the platform. Number 9 is how kind and honest people are. There was a few occasions actually where this came into light. The first one was when I was in a lift, a really packed lift, and usually my phone is in my hand, and for some reason it wasn't, and I had no idea where it is, but I didn't realise that I didn't know where it was. Anyway, someone on the other side of the lift said, "Is this anybody's phone?" holding up an iPhone, and I was completely oblivious. And my friend said, "Isn't that your phone?" And I was like, "Oh my god, yes it is, like, thank you so much," and I took it off the person. But honestly, if that had happened in London, I think the person just would have taken it. I'm not sure they would have been so honest. And then the other occasion was also to do with my phone. We had a boat party one weekend and I left my phone on the boat really stupidly. Anyway, everybody got in touch with the captain for me and he was really sweet, and he came back the next day onto the dock and he walked my phone back to me. And again, I just don't think that would have happened in London quite as smoothly. So that was really lovely. The people are very kind there. Number 10 is really weird, but it's that there's so many Mormons in Taiwan. As you may have gathered by now, I really am obsessed with Mormons. Something about them just fascinates me and I want to know all about their lives. I don't see them very often in England, although there are a couple that live around the corner from my house here, which is cool. But in Taiwan, I was seeing them pretty much like every other day, I'd say. Also, when I went to Tokyo, they had them there. That was quite nice to see them. They always cycle in pairs and it was so sweet because they always have like shirts and ties with their "Hello, my name is Elder Price" or whatever. I always got a little buzz whenever I spotted them in the street. And number 11, lastly, is the receipt lottery. Basically, every single receipt that you get given in Taiwan is a lottery ticket, so they all have a number on them and everyone saves all their receipts. By the end of my trip, I honestly had a huge carrier bag full. And then I think it's every 2 months, they'll release a set of numbers and you have to check all your tickets, and if you match any of the numbers, obviously you can claim money. I actually won 800 Taiwan dollars, which is about £16, so I was quite happy with that. Anyway, that was my 11 fun facts about Taiwan. I hope you learned something, or if you're Taiwanese, you probably find it quite funny that I find it bizarre. I had really the most amazing trip of my life. It was really life-changing. I feel like I learned so much about myself. People have been saying that they think I've been really brave, and I actually don't think I've been brave. I just always go with the mindset that everything will be okay. Things always work out, and people are so helpful. I do think it was just an incredible trip, and I will always remember it, and I really hope that I stay in touch with all the friends I made there. I would love to go back one day, although I always like to visit new places, but if the opportunity ever did come up to go back, of course I would love to. That's all I really have to say about that, so I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to see more from me. I'm going on another trip which will last a month and a half in a couple of weeks, and I'm really excited about it. I've actually been planning it all day today, and I'll let you know more about that closer to the time. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!